Greetings, Agartha here. Here is how I used my indicator. These three lines are called the waves. This is called the last line of defense, and this is called the last line of resistance. As long as you're above the waves, you're bullish. When you go below the waves, you're bearish. The moment you take out last line of defense, you're bullish again. An example. You took out last line of resistance here, you backtested the waves, you went up, backtested the waves, and you continued higher. You then backtested the wave again with a blow up top, and then you went low again to the waves, and then it continued higher. It made another blow up top with a green line on top, and it went down to the waves, up, down to the waves, again, up, and then below the waves. And here is where it acted like resistance. What acts like support, the waves, should turn into resistance. Now, the moment you take out the waves and you take out the last line of resistance, ideally, great support, you go above, and then you continue staying above the waves. Boom, 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 boom. And it continued to stay above the wave. The math formula around the wave, now that we're talking about 2018, should be turned into a monthly time frame. But let's continue the story from 2018, because now we are talking about days, and the waves is working around a math formula. And if we're talking about weeks, Surface saying days. If we're talking about weeks and we are talking about 2018, the math formula changes. So one should look at a 300 MA, and one should look at the monthly waves. Anyway, let's continue with the wave story. You went back to the waves, tested that again, went above, went below, acted like resistance, boom, 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 and then bully boom pow. Here is where you took out the last line of defense and you went below it, and here is where you got your last line of defense again, because you took out the waves. And then it stayed above the waves and it continued higher. It tested the waves again and it went up again. Then it went below the waves and then it went above the waves again. And then it went below the waves again, but it never took out the last line of defense. It closed a little bit higher. And if you remember, here is when we are talking about COVID. And what did it do? It went above the waves again. It stayed above the waves, continued higher to the previous top. It tested the waves again, and it continued with bully boom pow. Now, here is your all-time high. Here is your backtest on the waves. Acted like resistance, went below, gave you a blue candle, went above, tested the waves, and continued higher. Now look, it took out the last line of resistance, meaning turning back to the waves to continue higher. Yes, ideally, right? Ideally. But something went wrong here. This is when we went below the waves and it started to act like resistance. And since then, it's just been bearish. It's not, it's, I've, no need to be bullish for me to be bullish here when we go below the waves, especially not here. And what did I say? The moment we go below 28, 29, 28, I don't see support all the way down to 17. And what did it do? It did just that, even went below, and then took out the last line of resistance and made a whole fucking mess here. Since 2018, it made a mess. So if we turn this into a monthly and look back in 2018 and look at the story a little bit closer, we can now see that 2018 has a better story with the waves. You went above, you went up, you tested the waves, you went above, you tested the waves, you went above, and now here is the double top, but the sign is everywhere. Your RSI is below, but it's giving you a higher price. That was a great signal, a very good signal, especially when you look like this. This RSI is higher than this. This RSI is higher than this. But the price is speaking the language. Do you see the RSI? Do you see the prices? So you tell me, is this bullish? The monthly? No. Is this bullish? The weekly? Yes. But this is such a mess that I'm not going to say, yeah, Bitcoin is 100% bullish, because Bitcoin was created in 2008 and 9, and this story is similar to what we are about to see with SPX. In 2008, last line of defense was broken here, and here is when Bitcoin was created. And since then, we've made another last line of defense. We went back to the waves, we went above, we tested the waves, we stayed above, we tested the waves, we took out the last line of resistance, we stayed above the waves and continued higher. And since then, we've just been staying above the waves and above the last line of defense. But here's the interesting part. Here's when we broke the last line of defense. And now we are staying above the waves. One time we did that, last line of defense, when it was broken, last time, Bitcoin was created. Now it's doing it again. Is Bitcoin gonna die? I have no idea. But the chart on the monthly time frame does not look good. You're below the waves, and it's acting like resistance. I would love for this to go down here to test the blue wave, and then continue higher to test 59, 58, 59. Ideally, right? That's what I want, to test this. And I'll definitely take profit here. Yeah, that's just me. And probably buy back to the waves if we go above it. Let's just say we go down here, we close to the blue candle, and then we continue higher. Boom, 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 boom. We take out 59. We back test the waves, because the waves will probably be going upwards then, if that's the idea, right? And we'll be back testing the waves, probably 47, 48, 49, and then continue higher to continue higher than 59 if we get a close above the 59. If this acts like resistance and we go like, oh, and then we just make a doji and we close here, this is bearish because it's acting like resistance. As long as we don't close a candle above this, we are below. It's resistance. This is last line of resistance. The moment you take that out, it's literally moon from there. But as long as that's not the case, I will not speak the language of ultra bullish in a monthly time frame. I will speak the language of being bullish on a weekly time frame. Why? Because we took out the last line of defense. Why? Because we went above the waves and now we are backtesting the waves. So ideally, backtest the waves and continue higher. But is this a mess? Definitely. This is definitely a mess. And for that reason, I'm turning this into a monthly wave, and I'm turning this language into a clearer language where I can see that, okay, here's my resistance wave, here's previous support, It's acting like resistance. Sure, I have a blue candle below. Blue candle is bullish. It went up to the wave. Now, for the first time in history, we have monthly last line of resistance. We've never had this before. Never in Bitcoin's history. Okay? You never had this before. So you do what you want with this explanation. This is how I use my code, Agartha. The waves, amazing. And the veil is simply just candles. And when you see like blue candles, like this one, great job. Or this one, great job. But the waves are also important here. So you do what you want with this video. This is how I use my indicators. Agatha, over and out. I know I am not a professional, but I do make money. And I live, shit, eat, trading crypto. And I'm trying to learn stocks. So yeah, here's my watch list. Anyway, Agatha, over and out.